Yo, what's up guys? You got pokeaim here with some more competitive Pokemon Sun and Moon news. This time we're talking about a Pokemon that I actually loved to use back in early XY, Mantine, and that I still use in NU. Now Mantine has actually received a buff in Pokemon Sun and Moon. It's a pretty cool one. Not only has its HP stat been increased from base 65 to base 85, but it also receives a really important trait I feel on any defogger, especially if they're weak to rocks, and that is Roost. Mantine now has reliable recovery in Roost. Now let's talk about how that actually makes a difference. Mantine has access to the ability Water Absorb, and Mantine is also part water and part flying, which means that it naturally can take on Keldeo. In the past, this is the Keldeo calc real quick. With base 65 HP, Keldeo's Spec Secret Sword does 30 to 36%. That's a guaranteed 4 KO after leftovers recovery. Obviously, Mantine can deal with it back with Air Slash. Air Slash is almost a 2 KO. As well as the fact that with Water Absorb, Keldeo cannot Scald it and it cannot Hydro Pump it. However, Mantine in this generation has received a buff to its HP, and now it's base 85, which means it's a guaranteed 4 KO from Scald, just to say the least. But there are a few other relevant calcs that I feel are there. One, Keldeo is 100% countered. This can come in on any set, outside of, I suppose, an HP Electric Keldeo, but even then, Specs Keldeo, for example, cannot deal with this Pokemon at all. Even if Rocks is doing damage, you can always defog them away. Let's say Hidden Power Electric. Hidden Power Electric. Obviously, Specs Hidden Power Electric does 70 to 83%. So Keldeo, we might be seeing Keldeo running HP Electric in this generation, which is something they definitely ran in the past for Gyarados specifically, but now for Mantine as well. Mantine does have access to Roost via TM, so this is something that you can get after you trade over your Mantine with Defog, assuming you are able to do so. But this is pretty cool, again, for a defogger, having not only boosted HP stats, but also reliable recovery. And it doesn't have bad typing at all. It also has access to Scald, one of the best moves in the game, where you can burn your opponent. And just having that base 85 HP is pretty cool. I'll show you some more relevant calcs, maybe. Latios. Life Orb Psyshock, if you're running Bold Nature. It's not a 2 KO ever. With this EV spread. I'm not sure. This EV spread was made for NU, but there'll probably be some modified stats. But if you have like Toxic and Roost, you can definitely stall it out. You don't have to necessarily use Mantine as your defogger, but as a Keldeo answer, as well as the fact that you can take this on. Obviously, Latios can take you out with the Draco Meteor afterwards. But that's just a relevant calc that I thought was pretty cool. How I can take that Pokemon on with the base 85. With the base 85 HP. Big shout out to Casual, by the way. This was found based on him. I do want to know your thoughts. Down below in the NU tier, Mantine was used as pretty much an answer to Camerupt. And now having reliable recovery with Roost, one of the main ways of dealing with Mantine, at least in that tier, was obviously Stealth Rock damage and then chip damage. You force Mantine to come in. And because Camerupt was always going for Flamethrower, and Mantine doesn't have reliable recovery outside of either leftovers or rest if it wants to use that, which isn't necessarily reliable recovery. If you keep flamethrowing it, keep pressuring it with Stealth Rock, Mantine was taking 25% when coming in, and also just taking the flamethrower damage. But now, not only does Mantine have a boost in HP, which allows it to take hits better, it also has reliable recovery. I mean, it already had great Spadef. Base 140 is ridiculous. Let's just say with a Common Nature, that's 416 with a Common Nature. I'm pretty sure that's close to Kyogre, if not Kyogre. Yeah, Kyogre had base 140 defense, guys. So, just to show you, the Mantine is very bulky. Yes, it is weak to Stealth Rock, but I do want to know what your thoughts are. Obviously, as opposed to being, or not being a better camera up check, that's definitely one of the things that it does. But to show some relevant Pokemon that can take on the tier, that would be Keldeo, obviously. Maybe Ferrothorn. If you get a Scald Burn, you can Roost stall it out. Even Air Slash, beat it 1v1. There's just some Pokemon that can potentially beat. As well as having the just natural bulk to, with Toxic, even be able to beat like Mega Slowbro, just Toxic and Roost. Why does that rock to him? Just Toxic and Roost stall it. I also saw that Mantine got Bullet Seed. That's not really relevant, but I thought that was really cool. I mean, it already has it in the past generation, but I thought that was really cool that Mantine got that. I didn't know that Mantine got bullet seed. But I do want to know your thoughts down below. I think this is pretty cool for a defogger, assuming it still has access to defog. But just a reliable recovery and the buff in HP, allowing Mantine to take better hits. But like I said, feel free to leave your thoughts down below. I will be linking Casual War's Twitter, which is where I found it. Of course, got to give props to him. And yeah, like I said, let me know. Really cool that they're buffing these Pokemon, especially with defog. Okay, get bullet seed out of here. But really cool that they're buffing these Pokemon, especially with defog, toxic, air slash. I can see that becoming a set. Maybe not even using defog on Mantine, but just using Mantine as a Keldeo answer. In the past, I've actually used Rest Talk Mantine in XY, early XY, as a Keldeo answer, and it does beat it 1v1. But now having that reliable recovery in Roost is really cool for a defogger and just a Pokemon that switches into Pokemon like Keldeo. So, like I said, leave your thoughts down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye, friends.